All right, chapter 4 is archetypes and classes. Now, it talks about you might be starting something at a hero level. If I'm playing one of the everyday hero modules with Snake Plissken or Rambo, I'm going to start at a much higher level. I'm creating my guy. He's a level 1 hero. But there's things here that state you can bump up in levels if you need to. I'm a strong hero, so I move over to the page that's listing strong heroes. I'm going to take a photo of the little street sign here that shows leveling up, and I'll put it on the screen now. So you can see I'm at level 1, and just looking at it, you can see there's 10 levels. So you can see what I'm going to be able to grow into with my talents as I continue to level up. Reckless attack, and then a class talent. I actually have to look up and see what that is, but a reckless attack is at the start of your turn, I can declare that my character is going to be reckless, and I'll gain advantage on attack rolls with melee weapons until the end of my turn. However, my opponents will gain advantage on attack rolls against me until the start of my next turn. So this clearly has that barbarian type feel as I go in with my reckless attack. I like the fact that he's strong. He can come in with this reckless attack. He's going to get a proficiency bonus of +2 and a defense bonus of +1. All right, so first it also tells me that I'm at level 1. I'm going to get 1d10 for my hit dice that I'm going to put in. So what do I roll? Hopefully high. 9. He's doing very well. 9, 9, 9. Very nice. So I have 9 on my hit die. Very good. My starting hit points is 10 plus my Constitution modifier. So my Constitution modifier is +2. So I'm going to have 12 under hit points. All right, my defense, or what it says is meat shield, is 10 plus my strength modifier plus strong hero defense bonus, which we know is 1. So 10 plus my strength modifier, 4, so we're at 14, plus my defense bonus of 1, taking me up to 15 for defense. My proficiency bonus is +2. I will take a shot of this as we go. All right, knowing we're at level 1, and next we come over to the specifics of being a brawler. So moving to brawler and my level up, I'm a level 1. So my talents are going to be crush. I said talents are crush, hurl, and smash. Okay. So I've already got reckless attack under a talent that came from my hero talent of being strong, and I'm going to add crush, hurl, and smash under level 1. So definitely kind of a barbarian feel, but you can see the 1d6 is my smash damage with power attack. All right, so crush. I'll have advantage on any strength check you make to break an object, okay? In addition, your melee attacks have a +1 penetration value. Okay, hurl, you can double the throwing range when you attack with any weapon that has the thrown property. And smash, which is pretty long, but once during your turn, when you hit an opponent with a melee weapon, including weapons with the thrown property, you can choose to deal an additional 1d6 damage or an additional 1d12 if you use the power attack talent. It goes on and on and on. Interesting, good to know. Coming back to my proficiencies as the brawler, which I want to come back to, which is those little tiny circles that look like they're making the infinity sign. I have a saving throw will be strength and constitution. Perfect, right up my alley. The skills I'm going to pick up, and I get to choose 2 from this list. Acrobatics, athletics, endurance, intimidation, mechanics, streetwise. So I'm going to grab streetwise because that's going to make me expertise, an expert, rather than just proficient with my streetwise skill. I love it. I get to pick 2, so there's 1. Mechanics, I think intimidation's just got to roll with it. That size, the strength would be intimidating. There's just no way around it. That only makes me proficient with 1 in there. But that has me with proficient in intimidation, perception, and vehicles, driving. And streetwise, I'm actually having expertise. Nice. Equipment, basic equipment, and improvised equipment. Good. All right. So I already have basic and advanced from my police job, but I'll also get basic and improvised. It's good because I could see him like, using the phone book or swinging a chair. Equipment, we've got, equipment recommendations. There's something called the Badass Pack. I don't see me using this at all. I'm going to use something more along the lines of the undercover side, and weapons, unarmed strikes, and anything you find lying around. He is strong. They show the character here with like brass knuckles hooked. I don't know, we'll see. Cops, even undercover ones, but of course he's playing some kind of drug dealer, so he could have brass knuckles, something that would help him with the melee, which would make sense with his strength, but we'll see. We'll see under the brawler side of it. So he could end up with Rampage, Bits and Pieces, Haymaker, Unstoppable, Ultimate Brutality. These are all future things, again, you're seeing on the brawler level up screen. All right, Chapter 5. Finishing touches. All right, so looking at this, we've got a speed of 30. It talks about proficiency bonuses. I'm at level 1, which means I'll get a +2 for anything that I'm proficient in. And a skill bonus is my ability modifier plus the proficiency bonus of skill. And I will double up the proficiency bonus if I have expertise, which I only do in streetwise, which would mean it's 4. So, for example, if I was going to try to intimidate somebody with my strength, with my sheer brute strength, I have a +4 in my strength. My proficiency bonus would be a +2 because I do have intimidation as just a 1 block of proficiency. So it would be 4, 5, 6 that I would add to that. Now, if I was doing something streetwise, I have expertise, so I would get a proficiency bonus of 4. I like that. Sliding down, we will go to my passive perception. So it's 10 plus wisdom. My wisdom is 0, but I get a proficiency bonus if I have perception. I do. I have 1 level, so I'm just going to get 12 under my passive perception, 12. Now it gets to equipment. I'm going to go get kitted out here a little bit later. It talks about how there's packs for this. We'll come back to that later. We'll also come back to weapons. Weapon damage, it's just explaining that strength, I would get my modifier with melee weapons, dexterity with ranged weapons. So I only got a +1 in dex. Strength and dexterity for finesse weapons. Now that's not bad. We're going to have to look into what are finesse weapons because I'm looking pretty good on that. And then it says none for explosives and none for offhand attacks. Okay. We get into persona. So persona, I've already kind of told you, but we've even figured some things out as we go here. And it says that they give me 9 things to consider under persona. I may choose any or none of them, but they encourage me to consider at least the first 3. You're going to see that I've already considered this. So there's motivation, what drives me to do the things I do. We already know he's an undercover cop in Miami Vice. So if I was going to go through motivation, it could be something that I might spend some time. Maybe my brother is a drug addict and I got to see what that's like and I said I'm going to fight it. Maybe it's worse than that. Mom had a drug addiction. So there could be some motivation for why I'm doing the undercover work in my in this part of my persona. Attachments, your people, places, or things that I care about? Well, we already know I've got the iconic photo with mom, brother in front of like a tenement or a rundown house. Biography, what's your life journey thus far? Beliefs, role, appearance, virtues, flaws, and quirks. And I love quirks. I think you've got to have quirks and flaws. I've already built in the flaw. He's using steroids. Early in the 80s, they weren't illegal yet. It starts to trend in. I remember I was only 10 in 1980, but you were seeing, like I would see some older kids that were getting into athletics, and there were some roids flying around, and it was kind of the wild, wild west. I mean, and you can imagine, you've got all the 80s movies with the big bulk is coming in. So I'll come back to this later because I think I might want to role play this guy out. I'm starting to really like this guy. I'm going to list, obviously, I want to list a couple. Flaws. He's using roids. And that means I'm going to put in there that a little sidebar, he has anger issues. You know, he gets that roid rage going sometimes. Motivation. I really like the idea that his mom or his brother ended up having a drug problem. Mom or brother. I'm leaning towards the brother, but let's let the dice decide. Since I'm leaning towards it being the brother, let's go with 75. I'm going to do percentile dice. 75% chance that the brother got into drugs or selling drugs or did time, something. 75. 10. So yes, 75 or less, it's the brother. Otherwise, it was going to be mom. So we've got a motivation. Let me put it down. Motivation is older brother, who's in that picture. Older bro. Did he sell and go to jail, or did he get addicted? I don't think selling would send my character into the undercover side. It's got to be the older brother got addicted. So older bro addicted to drugs. And probably something ruinous. So there's his motivation. I really like that. We already know, let's see, attachments. We know mom is huge. Let's put that on here. I think mom, we're going to put mom number one. And I want to leave the brother nebulous. You know, is he in jail? Did he die due to his addiction? Did he overdose? You know, was it a heroin thing? I don't know. I think I might want that open to explain. Let me put brother's status. And then I'm just going to do a question mark. Maybe that's even a little bit hidden, but we know there's a problem there. Biography, we kind of have attachments. We know his mom, beliefs. How do you see or understand the world? I'm going to lean back towards streetwise. It's kind of like take care of yourself, take care of your people. Role, we know he's an undercover cop. We know due to this that it's a deeper reason why he's doing it because of his brother, so that's good. Appearance, we already know. I've got him in the muscle cars. He's bulked out. I think he's wearing, I kind of picked this shirt because I know it's Vietnam and Huey's, but I think he wears, you know, those like Hawaiian shirts, but in Miami. And being the big guy, you can picture him wearing, you know, these flamingo type shirts is what I picture. We already got the flaw. I like the roid use. Quirks. What makes you a little bit strange or different? Quirk. What would be a cool quirk? I was thinking chess, but he's not really into the intellectual side of it. You know, Crockett had an alligator and lived on a boat. Our guy's got a muscle car. Oh, let's do this. This seems weird, but with Crockett living on a boat, what if this guy, I used to love the old show, Vegas. It had, oh man, the guy that played Robert Urich. Bingo. Robert Urich was the actor, and I used to love as a kid, he drove his sports car like into his house. It was like his house was the garage, so he drove in and his car sat there. Doesn't seem like it would be the greatest thing. And there was his couch and his bed. So this guy's quirks is that, not that he lives in a garage, but it's like his flat is also where he parks his muscle car. So it's very Vegas-like, the show. Not Vegas as in Las Vegas, but Vegas, the show. Let me make a note. And that he parks his muscle car in his living room. I like it. And we're going to have to figure out exactly what that muscle car is as well. So that's very nice. This persona thing really helps you get into the role play. I love how that's broken out. I love how they encourage the first 3, but they really have you look at all 9, and it helps you flesh that out. And then if you needed even more help, it can drop into subclass of the motivations, and it's talking about approval, charity, creation, drugs, duty. Okay, very cool. So each of those gets a little bit further breakdown as you go. I like that. It's not doing that, or is it doing it? Yep, for attachments, it sure is. So if you need a jump start on each of these 9, it's in here. I like it. You see how my mind went right off because I was already getting a feel for this guy. Beautiful. We got a biography, beliefs, role, appearance, we know. His virtues, we didn't really get into that. We can tell he's probably a little narcissistic. I like the flaws, the quirks. So very good. All right, we're going to be moving over to chapter 6 and equipment. This might move a little quicker because we know he's going to have like access to a police radio and the computer, but then you kind of called it in. Remember, it's 1980s Miami Vice, but he's going to have the iconic 1911 45. Let's see here what we got. So wealth of 3, you are in the upper middle income range. Okay, with the undercover, police officer pay, you likely own a home or 1 or more cars. Money might be tight at times, but your finances are secure and any debt you have is less than the assets you own. Perfect. For him, he's doing great. He feels like he's in tall cotton, just because of he grew up, at that street level poverty area. Not to mention his police equipment gives him both basic and advanced equipment. He's also going to be able to use improvised stuff with his brawler attitude. So we will deal with kind of, the fact that he's living, I almost even see him living in like an industrial area. Like he's managed to have a little tiny flat that he's able to pull his car into, that nobody's even around. I like that idea. Let me throw that in. It's a little bit under the quirk, so it's kind of an industrial area. Not to mention, when you're not in a residential, everything's pretty quiet after 5. So I'm just going to write industrial area flat. So I like that. I like that a lot. All right, we have equipment packs. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I already covered his clothing and his vehicle. But if you need it, they give you price levels. So price level 3 is where my guy is at. And I could get a badass pack. Just so you know, that would be clothes, jeans, tank top, steel toe boots. That's clothes. Gear, bag stuff, pocket stuff, utility knife, vehicle, an old muscle car. An old muscle car. That's exactly where he's at. And then it says car stuff. Weapons, none. Unarmed strike. No, my guy, we already know. So there's these equipment packs that you can get. There's a bodyguard pack, detective pack. Let's see what this has. Business casual shirt. Okay, I need to know is they're like an undercover. Because I like the badass part. That kind of fits the undercover. I don't think I would need this. Role play wise, I know what he's got. Especially the rent would be within for, he's parking his car. It's almost like a garage he pulls into. I love that whole aspect. Let's see what else they got. Do we have anything that is like, we have detective, but just to see, okay, here's a police pack. Oh, that's the police uniform, the gear, the police cruiser. We don't need that. Is there anything underworld pack? Okay, that could fit because of being undercover. Maybe even the street criminal side would. Again, think Miami Vice. So if we were doing street criminal, it could be jeans, t-shirt, hoodie, sneakers, vehicle, a street motorcycle, no, 9mm. Underworld would be stylish club outfit, trendy jacket, vehicle, sedan, tinted window. Okay, I won't need any of this, but you can see you have these packs that would facilitate you jumping in. If you've seen Miami Vice, you know muscle cars, and you know that he's living in an industrial area where his front door is a garage door and he parks and there's his whole living room and his bed. But it's kind of cool. That's where he's living. And it's all within his price level of $3. We have specialized kits, police cruiser, police kit. I think I could handle all this on my own. You know, undercover detective, he's going to have access. He's got his handgun, but he's going to have access, and he would carry a shotgun, a pump action Remington 870, but it's going to be modified. That's a police cruiser shotgun if you've ever seen it, but he would have one that's like modified up a little bit, you know, probably chromed. And maybe even like something cool at that time would be they were using the plastic stock in the foregrip, but you could buy them in like different colors. I could see him using, you know, bright red or green or something like that. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the specialized kit. Just so you know, you've got burglar's kit, camping kit, chemistry. So there's all kinds of kits that would help you get outfitted. There are certain equipment rules. I'm not going to dive into all that now, but it kind of just covers like what can you carry on you. My guy's not going to be, you know, hauling a refrigerator around. So armor and shields, bulk and encumbrance. Well, I think we are going to have to figure out his bulk limit, and it's 5 plus his strength modifier. Well, that's easy. I'm glad that's in there because his bulk limit is going to be 9. That's got to be on here somewhere. Where is my bulk limit? All right, I don't see it. That's fine, but bulk limit is 9. And to let you know what bulk limits are. So it says bulk limit equals 5 plus strength. So bulk of 0 is like a cell phone. Bulk of 1 is you can comfortably hold and use these items with one hand. Let's jump up to bulk 4. These items are both heavy and large. They are impossible to conceal and challenging to carry without a case of some kind. Examples include anti-material rifle, a rocket launcher, light or medium machine gun, 20-pound sledgehammer, or a big screen TV. But my bulk limit equals 5 plus my strength modifier, which means I'm up to 9. Well, I don't see where it goes much higher than that, but basically my guy is strong. But I'm going to adhere to, again, Miami Vice. It's the, you know, the pink flamingo cool, like Hawaiian shirt, and I could see him wearing either, you know, like Crockett has those real cool, like bigger pants on, or maybe even shorts, and he's super casual. But he's got that 1911 kind of in a hidden holster. Armor and shields, we're not doing ballistic armor, concealable armor. Again, he would have access to a vest. So a lot of the, I think even in Miami Vice, they would sometimes get him out of the trunk and throw him on, like if they knew they were doing a raid. So he's going to have access to a ballistic vest. I'm sure that's probably like bulk 3, two-handed to handle, or maybe bulk 2. Let's see, we're not dealing with any kind of shields, although they did have ballistic shields. We'll come back, but just know he'll have some armor. Weapons, he's going to have ranged, which is the pistol, a shotgun, and I'm still debating. He's got to have something melee, but I just don't think it would be brass knuckles. I want to roll, though. I mean, he is streetwise. He would know that brass knuckles, you can slide into a pocket. It's very concealable. It's brutal. He's so strong, but I just don't feel like he would carry it. But let's let the dice. I think there's a 10% chance he might have it. 29, so no. No brass knuckles, but I need something. Ooh. Okay, I don't know which movie it is. It's an older movie, but the guy used to have like a roll of quarters. Now, putting that roll of quarters in your hand, gives your hands some weight, and it actually somehow, not that I've used a roll of quarters to ever punch anybody, but apparently it kind of makes your hands heavier and not as bendy when you punch. Who knows? I like the idea that he keeps a roll of quarters in his pocket, and that somehow that's going to up his like punching ability. I'm going to put roll of quarters punch. I'm going to have to look up how that's going to work. If I'm looking at brass knuckles, it's going to be a level below that, so I'll probably check that out later. Let's see, we're going to skip most of this. There's all kinds of things on full auto, grenades. Again, he's going to have a pistol and a shotgun. It gets into basic melee weapons. Club, small metal, club, small wooden. I could see all that. Dagger, knife, machete, stun gun. Unarmed strike is a 1d4 bludgeon. So the question is there club small is a 1d6? Is that like a club, or is that like brass knuckles? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But I do think that the roll of quarters would be something he would keep on him. He could always pay with quarters. Maybe he likes video games. Ooh, I like him in the arcade. I'm going to put in here also good for the arcade because it's 1980. And I think he likes the arcade. He grew up poor and he likes to go in and play in the arcade. I love it. There's a nice little quirk. We'll come back. We're not using crossbow. We are using a shotgun, not double-barreled. We're using pump. And we'll have a pistol. We'll flesh all that out later. We won't do it here. What am I missing? We're going to flip through a little bit quicker. No explosives. We do have some ballistic vest light, which I will list. Price level, no problem. The police department, Miami, would provide that anyway. No historical. You can carry like javelins and boomerangs. None of that's going on here. Same with ranged weapon. We're not using any of that. Improvised equipment. I do have a little thing with improvised as far as stuff with my brawling. I think that's where the quarters would kind of come in. What does it have in here? Well, they've got things like chainsaws and thrown improvised explosives. All right, what this will just open up is my guy's streetwise. So if there was something, you know, like a broken bottle, I could see turns into an edged weapon. But we'll just play that by ear. Molotov cocktails if he needed to. Anything that's kind of streetwise, you know, a bat. They have a little lead pipe on here. Military equipment, nope, he's not going to have any of that. And we'll skip right through the descriptions of that. I was a medic in the Army, so if we needed to do medic stuff, we could. Ammunition, I'm not worried about. No scopes, nothing like that. Suppressors, nope, not with his 45. I guess it's possible, but I don't think he would. Electronics, we know he might have a computer or definitely like a police radio, but because he's undercover, that's not going to be on him. Same with handcuffs, it won't be on him. We have hardware as crowbar, duct tape, ear protection, fire suit. No, he's not going to have any of this. Handcuffs, access to, but again, not on him. And the vehicle, there's no armor kits here. We've got all this stuff with vehicles. We know it's a muscle car. I'll come back later and figure it out. I'm feeling like I got to run this guy through at least one episode of how he is. So, and there's some other things I want to figure out on this sheet. That will be me putting the weapon in and figuring out the proficiencies. I think we're about there. Let me flip through. There are all kinds of civilian land vehicles, commercial vehicles. Yeah, the muscle car. Okay, so it's right on here. Pax. What is Pax? That's 5. Strength is +5. Dex +2. Constitution 3, AV 2, price level 3, it's in my area, 200 miles per hour, wow, that's really push it up there, but okay. And properties are huge, so yeah, I already know where I'm parking it, but this is where I could put my vehicle. We're going to list this down in properties, so 5, and then for strength, it's +5. Dexterity, it's very maneuverable at a +2. The Constitution +3, very durable, love it. And the AV is its armor value, makes sense. Its armor value is 3. This is weird that a race car has a 4, but okay. Armor value is 3. And it can do 200 miles per hour at lists. Okay, so maybe I could write the other stuff in, but that's fine. So we've got our vehicle. I do see the armor value for the vest down here as well. So let me go back and add in, I saw the vest in here somewhere. All right, so here's our ballistic vest light. Its armor value is only 2 because it's a concealable vest. All right, so price level, no problem. Bulk, no issue. It's small, it's flexible. Okay, so it's not stab proof, and the ballistics aren't quite as good as their medium. Goes without saying. All right, the last section, which we're not going to get into because I'm level 1, is feats. So your feats will be added down to like your talents, your shortcuts for your talents and feats. And feats are a way to optimize and add variety to your hero. But you're not going to acquire those feats until you hit levels 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And let me put in the basic feats on the screen right now. You're seeing a picture. So you can see that you can increase one ability score by 1 point. And that would be like ability score training. So they've been training. So I could definitely pop my guy's strength up to 20. I could see as soon as I hit level 2, I'm popping my strength up to 20. I almost think that's a no-brainer. Picks me up to +5. But you can see you've got advanced skill training, gives expertise in a skill you're already proficient in, not bad. Equipment training, investments, skill training, survival training. Those are your basic feats. The advanced feats, just this first page here, how many? Yes, so you're going to have 2 pages of the minor ones, and then you're going to move over to major feats. Just to give you an idea, the minor feats are things like Animal Whisperer, Blade Master, Blind Fighting, Fast Feet, Fast Hands. That would be helpful for my guy. Gunfighter, not a bad thing he might need. What else we got? Languages, Tumbling. What is the Whale? Use your wealth to gain social advantage. Okay. Sticky Fingers, like a pickpocket. Major advanced feats. Fortune's Fool. Reroll 3 attacks, saving throws, or ability checks per day. Wow. Guerrilla, ambush enemies from the shadows. Okay. Harrier, block melee attacks and attack while retreating. All right. Multi-class feats. Okay, so we have an archetype. Strong hero training, agile hero training, tough hero training, smart hero training, wise hero training. Okay, so description. Gain skills and talents from each of the 6 archetypes. All right. I'd have to read into that further. No need to do it here, but then we go into pages that will dial down into what all the basic feats are. The advanced feats are. Very good. So anything I'm confused, just reading these little blurbs, I can dial in and get all the information here. They show grappling. So, okay. Global contacts. Interesting. Got it. It goes through all this detail of what these feats would do for you. Very nice. Page upon page, dialing in so you know exactly what you're looking at. Very good. All right, then we get right into the game rules. So that is it. We've got our character. I will end up fleshing out what the weapons do on the sheet. I will also add in the player's name. I'll come up with that. We'll probably pop back in here and we'll flesh out some more of the persona stuff that I wrote down on my scrap page that actually can come up on the character sheet. All right, very nice.